everyone, I'm back. I finally worked out a way how to record with my ankle up. So, as those of you on Facebook know, I hurt my ankle again recently, which meant that I wasn't able to record when I wanted to. But I think I finally worked out a way to do it. So, yes, I'm happy about that. In the meantime, whilst I haven't been able to record, I have been catching up a bit on my books. So I've been reading this series called The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. So I'm thinking of bringing in some book reviews as I read them and do them. It won't be things like hauls, but just because I love my reading also, and I've got heaps of books that I'm slowly getting back to reading. I'm hoping to, shall we say, bring some of this into other videos. As you've noticed, I'm starting to try and add on a variation of different things onto my channel because, well, I want to. So, oops, got to shift that knife. I've got a knife that's filled with candle wax on it, so from scraping the candle down correctly, but I'm currently burning one called Salted Caramel, which smells really, 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 really yummy. So, yeah. So I'm going to continue with Bennett Klein's Epic today. I'm just going to zoom in a bit as we can. So I'm going to aim to do a speed colouring, and with what I've done, as well as just the general colouring. So as some of you noticed last time, I did a bit of a speed colour and there were a few mistakes which I'll aim to fix this time. But yeah, so I hope you will enjoy this, and we're going to continue with our Fabercastell Polychromos. We're going to start with an Indanthrene Blue, I think it is called. And what I didn't do last time was kind of put the colour into this part here, so I'm actually going to bring our blue into this little part of the tail, and down here, well, there's a bit down here, and as you know, just do our little light sort of source areas on each of those sides. So yeah, I'm going to sort of continue with this. I'm sorry I haven't gotten anything done the last few days. It was just unfortunate that I went and hurt my ankle. And I'm just going to do this little part, and then we'll continue with our blues with the other fins. I'm not quite sure how much we'll get done, just depending on time, but I guess we'll see. So next I'm going to come in with our blue violet with Fabercastell Polychromos, and the blue violet we want to bring down over all those other colours currently. So we're trying to blend it into these areas. But yeah, so I'm trying to do the best I can with what I've got. It was thanks to my mum that I finally worked out a way of possibly being able to still do my recordings whilst my ankle was bad. Basically, I'm at the kitchen table, which isn't necessarily the best, but it works for now. So we've just gone all over all the other colours and done our little light shade there. Then we're going to come in with our Polychromos Crimson, and we want to bring that over all these colours here, including these colours and where our little shades are, trying to leave a little bit of area for our final colour, if we can. And I've actually noticed this paper is so thin that it really easily buckles the tooth of the paper with the Bennett Klein books. So it doesn't seem to be specifically built for art or colouring from what I'm noticing. But yeah, I probably could have photocopied it, but I didn't. So, and I don't have a printer to scan and print it, so I'm just doing it directly in the book. But yeah, the paper is a little thin, but I like it anyway. And lastly, we're going to come in with our light purple pink, and we're just going to bring that over all the previous colours for this part of the fin. Then next, what we want to do, we want to bring in our Indanthrene Blue again, and I'm just working out exactly how I'm going to do this because there's a lot of shadows in some of these bottom areas. I might just stop for a minute and think about this. Sorry, my brain's still a bit addled, and my ankle, whilst it's kind of comfortable, it's kind of getting a bit uncomfortable as well with the position. I'm just thinking. So we've got our pearl here, so obviously, even though that's not supposed to be lighter, I'm going to put in our shadow there just because of the fact that the pearl kind of is over the top of the fin. I'm going to bring our Indanthrene Blue up here, looks like there's a bit there, and a bit there, and then just some little light of our light sort of shades. So yeah, the book I showed you, The Darkest Minds, I've actually been reading that lately, and I'm really loving getting back to some of my books. I actually have quite a large bookshelf, but there's still books that I want to finish in series and stuff, like that I don't own yet. But yeah, it's been nice because I've been getting back, I've been doing a bit of reading and stuff whilst my ankle's been an issue because the colouring, well, I don't have the correct setup all the time to easily do it. But I'm going to do my best, and I'm still going to think, even though there's all these shadows down here, I think I'm still going to try and follow the sort of streaks that we did in the tail and the other fins, just to try and keep them there. And we're going to follow where the other fins are overlapping the others. We are going to put a shadow in those spots. But yeah, it's pretty much, the story is basically based around the fact that it's like all of a sudden like a disease or something spreads, and all kids under when they turn to the age of 10, they either die or they wake up with special abilities, and there's different abilities, different talents kind of thing, and they get put in camps and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a fantasy / sci-fi novel, and the government and everyone's kind of scared of them, and yeah, it's quite, I like it. It's quite interesting in my opinion. But yeah, I'll have to think more how to explain about it because I'm not really sure, but I've been really enjoying reading it anyway. It's a trilogy, and they're bringing out a 4th book solo novel based around one of the characters that's in this current series, so it's quite fun. I'm enjoying reading it anyway. And I'm just thinking how to do all of this because we seem to be ending up with quite big sort of thick lines with the blue at the minute, which wasn't exactly what I wanted. So pretty much at the minute I'm just highlighting around these fins and stuff, but I was hoping for a bit thinner lines, but I sharpened it last time, sharpened some of them last time, but then I realised that probably, well, as you know, I don't like to waste the pencil because of how much they cost to place, so yeah, so I'm not intending on doing that again. So that sort of looks like an underneath part of the fish, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of bring the blue of the fin down here a bit, and then we're going to follow some of these lines. Even if there is shadows everywhere, it doesn't mean that we can't fill in some of those shadows with our purples and stuff. But the lines are sort of seeming a lot thicker than the first time we did this. But we do the best we can, don't we? I'm just adding in a couple of lines in some areas where I think it could use them. Now we want to add in our little light bit around those blues, isn't it? So I'm still working on the photography stuff too, but they've been a little, I finally worked out a way of being able to continue editing that as well, so that's good as well, because I was kind of getting frustrated not being able to do much, but at the same time it was a good chance to be able to catch up on, well, continue, get back into my reading again. So yeah, as I said, we do the best we can. These lines in that do appear a lot thicker this time, but yeah, I'm not going to sharpen it. At least I don't think I will be, because I kind of don't want to waste the lead. So I'm just going to aim to do these as thin as I possibly can with the thin lines. My dog's pacing around Lily's. So I'm just going to continue with these two. I might only end up doing these two sort of fins this time. It's looking a little rough compared to last time, in my opinion. It is. It sort of looks a little bubbly, like it's not sitting as straight and it's just going fat lines and stuff. It is. So I'm kind of not sure how it's gonna work out because it's not the sharp point, so I may just have to sharpen it anyway. I guess we'll see. So now we're going to come in with our blue violet. I've sort of decided, well, there's no point stressing over things. Things come out how they come out, and there's not really that much you can do about it. Stressing over it doesn't really always solve the problem or the issue or whatever it is. So yeah, so we're going to come in with our Polychromos Blue Violet, and as you may remember, bring that over every colour. Including these shadow sort of spots around the fin, around the tail, where certain tail parts overlap others. If you don't get it over all the blue, you don't kind of thing, you can just bring in the other colours over those shades. That's what I'm going to do anyway, so. Like, I'll try to bring the purple into some of the areas where the shading is, but some of the areas the shading's a bit thick and a bit much for where I want it, so I'm just going to bring in other colours over those areas too. But yeah, I've been loving catching up on some of my books anyway, and hopefully I'll be able to get some ones to finish the series and that with time. But I've kind of decided that with the books that I can only buy the next books in the series once I've kind of, shall we say, I'm reading the series and getting close to getting up to those books in the series. So yeah, still fun though. Always enjoyable reading, particularly on wet rainy days, which it has been the last few days. Really, these areas in here too, I should probably put really dark purple all the way down those with the shading like I would have done with the other, but at the same time I don't want to, because I still want to be able to see some shapes of the fins and stuff like that. So even though it's fully shaded in those areas, I'm still just adding in light purple shading or light blue violet shading in that area. I'm just going to use the Indanthrene Blue quickly to underline underneath the belly of the fish where the fin. So I don't know, it might have light sources in that spot of the fin, but at the same time I'm looking at it and thinking, well, where the shadows are on the belly of the fish, that would kind of be in shadow. So yeah, now we're going back to our blue violet. And there's also an area I've missed just up here as well, which I'll get back to in a minute. Just up under here, I'm going to colour blue all through this spot here, because this is more of the blue violet all through there, because that's more of like a dark sort of spot. And we're just still going to add the other colours over that spot, but we're not going to worry about it being filled in particularly or whatever, because it is quite a dark shadowed area. And now we're going to come in with our crimson from Polychromos, and before I forget it, I'm going to bring it over that dark area that we just shadowed, and then we're going to bring it into some of these areas here where we've got our shadows here. It looks like this one's not going to have a lot of the bright pinks that are showing on it, because it's quite a dark sort of area in these spots. It is, it's actually very dark in those spots compared to the tail and that. I'm just bringing some purple just up here. Okay, now just some light tones of the crimson around where you got little light sources, which there's not too many on this spot. And I almost forgot the top fin. Yeah, just some light tones of our crimson on this fin as well. And now we're to our last colour. So now we're going to come in with our light purple pink, and we just want to bring that over every colour. So we're not particularly worrying about it having any specific area. This colour just comes over everything. It does. Which I know it won't show up in too many areas, but we're just trying to still do our light sources here around what we've got, with the way the fins flow and the different threads and tendrils and stuff with the fins. Well, it's not threads, but like the way the fins sit and their creases and stuff like that. That's what we're trying to do it around. And as you'll notice, this page is sort of buckling a bit underneath. Well, I don't know that you can see that, but when it sits here, you can see it's buckling a bit just because the paper is so thin that it's printed on. But it's still a very nice book to have because he does some amazing images. He really does, Bennett Klein does. Just want to try and make sure all those shadows have pink over them. And then we're going to come in with some pink into this fin. And going over every little area with this fin too, with the pinks and purples and everything. I love this salted caramel candle. It really smells so good and helps me to relax and feel better because I've been feeling quite down about not doing this colouring stuff whilst my ankle's been laid up lately. So yeah. So now I think what I may do, I'm thinking if I can find, I don't know if I'm already using the black Faber-Castell pencil, which it doesn't look like it, but I think I'm going to bring in just a bit of black into some of those areas just to make it work better. And I'm just going to pause it before I do that because it's getting to the 29 minutes, so I'll be back shortly. So hey everyone, we're back. So we've got our black Faber-Castell pencil. I'm actually not going to sharpen this because I sort of want a lighter tone, not a really dark. But pretty much just what we're going to use our black for is just to bring in some of these shadows around like the pearl and where the fins and that sit on top of each other. I'm also just going to quickly add in a bit more light purple pink on this part just to get it looking better, shall we say, or how I want it to. And we're just doing a bit of this to try and bring out some definition between where we've placed the things, and we'll just bring in a little bit of our bluey purples and stuff over those areas to make sure they still stand out and around where these fins are. Because we've got so much darker colours here, we can sort of blend it in easily using those. But I do want some definition and for these fins to stand out as separate fins, I guess you could say. So, just gonna try zooming in even a little closer for a minute. I hope it's light enough for you, just because of the fact that I don't have the light pointing directly at the page. It's in a bit of an angle away from me at the minute. I think my dog might have bumped it when she slid that way, but I sort of left it where it was without positioning it because I regularly shifted out of the way so I'm not tripping on it with my bung ankle. But yeah, now we're going to come in with our Indanthrene Blue and just use that to blend our black just a little bit into there. We don't want too much and we don't want to really bring it over the other pattern areas, but we just want that black a bit more blended. We don't want just like a solid black line. We don't. And then just a little bit of our blue violet, and we'll leave it at that. Just because I'm looking at this and thinking too much more out there and we're going to sort of lose our shape or definition of where those shadows sort of go, just due to the fact that it'll take too much away from the black in some ways. Well, that's just my thoughts, it may not, but I just feel that I don't want those lines too thick where the fins do sit over each other, and right now possibly a little thicker than I want them, but you do what you do, I guess. Just need a little bit the blue violet there too, which I might have forgotten the Indanthrene Blue there, but oh well. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just leave it at that for now, and we'll come back next time and do some of the top fins and stuff, just because it's sort of, I guess, getting late, and the fact too that, well, I'm just sort of feeling like I need to change the position of my ankle and stuff, which is not easy to do in this spot. So yeah, I'm gonna head off, and I'm hoping tomorrow I'll be able to do a lot more videos. And yeah, so yeah, the good news is it seems to be improving a little bit each day, so that's a good thing. So yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.